Here's a little instructional video on, at least in my case, how to use these newer LUMA 310 series turret cameras. In this case, we're installing 16 of these in a warehouse, and we're trying to figure out how to mount them. The 510 and the 710 series, the actual backplate fits a junction box, a dual or single gang, which is really cool. This guy does not, however, but I think I figured out a way to retrofit it in. That's a warehouse scenario, so it doesn't have to be super pretty. But anyway, first step is disassembling the cable. I'm sorry, disassembling the camera. And we are going to do that by, there's 4 parts to the camera. There's the camera, the housing, the skirt, and the base. And we just need to get the skirt off, and you can do that by grabbing it. It says in the directions turn it clockwise, but it's actually counterclockwise to take it off. And then these little lips inside that disengage, and it pops off. And then what you have left is this little Allen head nut or screw, and you want to loosen it. It's got a little like locking washer on the back side, so if you're upside down, you don't unscrew it all the way and it just falls out, which is helpful. But you want to unscrew it until it gets pretty tight. So once it starts getting tight, go even a little further. It's going to help. And what I found is helpful, it took me a while to figure this out, just turn the camera upside down, kind of shake it a bit, and then you want to pinch the mount and the housing together, and then you can kind of slide the tab out. There we go. And it disengages the mount from the lip on the housing. So see the little tab? It's now sticking out. And then the housing just comes right off. The turret comes right out. And in this scenario, like I said, we kind of figured out a custom junction box situation. We purchased a bunch of these 6 by 6 by 4 inch gray boxes, you know, warehouse purchase here. And what I've already done is taken the template that they give you, the drill template for the 310 series turret, placed it on here, marked off my pilot holes that actually anchor the base, and then I drilled a hole for the cable to pass through. So you could just take the base, put it on there. We'll anchor in a couple screws here. I won't do them all since this is just an example. There we go. One. Our second one here. And this is nice because you can do this, you know, at a table rather than on top of a ladder. So you can prepare all this down low. So now it's attached. And you'll notice on the box, I've already taken the liberty of installing this little nipple here that allows for the cable to safely pass into the box without getting tore up on the PVC. I used a hole saw, 1 1/8 inch hole saw, and this is a 1/2 inch nipple here. And then I just used a metal locking washer inside, so it's nice and solid, a great way for the cable to get in here. And I'm trying to figure out a way to make it so once you get the wire in here, it can't get pulled back out. So if anybody's got any ideas, that'd be great. Anyway, so there it is. Put this guy on top. So first you're going to mount this up. In my case, it's a warehouse, 20-foot ceilings with these big old glue-lam beams. I figure we could anchor it either using these anchor points or anchor it, here's the glue-lam right here. Just run some panhead screws through from the inside of the box into the beam, maybe like 4, so it's nice and solid. So you got that up there. Make sure your hole is oriented towards the cable feed. And then while you're still down at the table, you can attach the camera, and we just go in reverse here. So we're gonna first put the turret cable in. And there is a little orientation notification on the turret here. It says up, so you got the right orientation, and that actually lines up, excuse me, with this little dip here on the housing. And you want to make sure this tab is still facing out, so you can actually kind of tilt the housing in. There's 3 lips. You want to get it in the back too. Let's see here. There we go. And now you can flip this tab so it's facing back in, and it just drops down over the lip of the housing. We're gonna anchor that down here. And you don't want to go super tight, because this is what allows for you to kind of adjust the turret after you put on the skirt. So I kind of test it. That's kind of tight. It turns a little too easy. A little tighter there. Okay, that's feeling pretty good. Yeah, you could still move the turret. This thing is super versatile. I mean, you can reorient it any way you like to work for your specific situation. Then you can put the skirt back on, and there's these 3 little lips. They're plastic, so just go slow. And they line up with the 3 little openings here around the mounting base. So I'm just going to line one up, and the rest should line up just fine. Should being the key word here. Let's try a different one. Cool. And then what you're going to do is just the opposite. You're going to turn it clockwise to kind of move the tabs under little openings there on the mount so it's secure. I wouldn't go super tight, because then it makes it really hard to take it back off. So we got the camera mounted. All right. Wire passed through the bottom. And the camera comes with this weatherproofing Cat 5 or 6 cable accessory kit. It explains in the manual, pretty detailed, how to actually use it. So you don't want to terminate the cable until you've applied this accessory. In our case, we're actually using shielded Cat 5. And just so you know, I'm not sure if Binary has it, but Ubiquiti has got some really cool stuff. It's called the, what is it called? The Tough Cable Pro. And it's an Cat 5e shielded with a drain wire, and it's UV resistant. So great for just running everywhere. Actually, I already practiced terminating here at the shop. It takes some practice. I haven't used a lot of shielded outdoor cables, so it's a little tricky to get the connector on the end, but I figured out a way to do it. Works great. Yeah, and then you'll just install your box, get up on your ladder, install this box where you want it, feed your network cable through the nipple, and then terminate it using the accessories. Plug it into the cable. We're using PoE. We're using the LUMA 16 channel 510 series NVR that I think offers pretty long distance PoE. And we're actually using a bunch of 510 series cameras too, which I was going to make another video for, because they're a little tricky if you've never done it before. And yeah, that's it. Obviously, you want your gasket. But yeah, this was my solution to figuring out how to mount this camera, being is that it doesn't have a drill pattern that matches any junction boxes. And it's a warehouse, so it doesn't have to look super pretty. If we did have to make it look pretty, I'd probably figure out a different solution. And I'm not really sure how you'd rough in cabling on a new build for these cameras. I guess you just stub a little cable out off the framing and hope that they don't bury it with stucco or drywall. But it would be nice if this thing just attached directly to a junction box, because then you could just use mud rings everywhere in your rough-in. But yeah, that's it.